Let me tell you about one of the reasons why some black fathers, in particular, lose contact with their biological children after divorce and separation. Um, and that is a reason of psychological and emotional reasons. Let me read you this. You ready? Therapeutic and peer spaces for black fathers are limited. Without spaces to talk about grief, rejection, and fatherhood struggles, many men internalize the pain. Remember, if you have pain, you either put it out on other people, shout, get angry, hit your wife, all of this sort of stuff, or you basically blame yourself, you go to self harm, you become depressed, that kind of stuff. What was I saying? Many men internalize pain, which can look like indifference from the outside, but is often a defense against feeling powerless. A lot of black men grow up being told to get on with it. After separation, instead of processing their emotions, they go to into survival mode, focusing on work, on new relationships, or numbing through distractions. This survival mode creates a distance from their child, not by choice, but as a coping mechanism. Guys, please don't annoy me today, but and trigger me because I don't know if I told you, but basically last year I wrote a book which was all about why it is that boys and men don't come to therapy. It's like a 600-page book about why it is that boys and men don't come to therapy. And one of the things that I kept saying, and I'm going to bang on about this until people understand this, when boys are raised in Britain, in the black community, they are not raised to be emotionally intelligent, to have empathy. I'm talking about the vast majority, because I know all of you are going to say, well, that's not how I raised my son. I understand that. But I'm just talking about the vast majority of black boys. They're not raised like that. In a lot of black household, children are raised through transactions. If you're perfect, if you are amazing, if you do well at your exams, then you're loved, right? Because a lot of the black community are raised within the Islamic or the church faith positions, and those faith positions have an in and an out group. In other words, if you're gay, you're lesbian, you behave in certain ways, then you are not allowed into it. And that's the way that many black people raise their children. And so these men who are raised like this, they get older and they basically repeat exactly the same thing that they were raised upon. And so this is why so many black women end up with these men who seem to come from really good households and they're well educated, but the problem is emotionally they're not good, they're not competent. Why? Because they never saw it. They were never loved for who they were. They had to be certain people in order to be loved. And so when they get divorced and separated, they don't know how to deal with it.